Hi, Grandma. How are you?
Hi, Tai. How are you?
I'm good. So, where are you right now?
How was your day?
It was great. Where are you right now?
I'm in my room. It's morning here in Israel, and we're just starting a new day. Tomorrow is Chag HaShavuot, so today it's cheesecake baking day, and everything's fine.
So, how does this
Great.
process work that I can see you and you can hear me and we can talk when you're on the other side of the world?
Well, let's see, Tai. It all began when
Globalization is a force which has progressively shaped modern society by flattening the existing world. In The World is Flat, Thomas Friedman introduces this idea in three stages. The explorations of 1492 kicked off Globalization 1.0 with the development of countries. In 1800, a second type of globalization was introduced, 2.0, in which companies are established within these emerging countries. Friedman suggests that today we have entered the third stage, 3.0, in which individuals are empowered as society is continually flattened. Friedman defines globalization as the simple definition of globalization is the interweaving of markets, technology, information systems, and telecommunication systems in a way that is shrinking the world from a size medium to a size small, and enabling each of us to reach around the world farther, faster, deeper, and cheaper than ever before, and enabling the world to reach into each of us farther, faster, deeper, cheaper than ever before. The events of the 1.0 and 2.0 eras significantly changed the world as a whole, shaping society of today. Although there have been few events which have hindered globalization, they were unable to have a lasting effect. The event that began Globalization 2.0 was the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution improved the ideas of transportation, economics, and communication. The steam engine was created and was used to power the railways, locomotives, and steamboats, which made transportation much quicker on land and on water. The Industrial Revolution changed countries from being an agricultural based society to a factory based society. These new factories and machines provided more jobs for many people and created larger revenues. With all of the new inventions and factories, global trade became much easier and faster. It also became much easier to deliver messages across the world with the use of the telegraph. The cotton gin was also created in order to produce clothes quicker, and clothes became much cheaper. Also, the printing press was created, and thus more books were created, and the books became much cheaper to buy. The Industrial Revolution fostered globalization by introducing new advancements that made things faster and more accessible, while inspiring a wave of innovation. Bringing forth new inventions, certain ideals were established, such as nationalism. Citizens began to have pride in their countries, supporting their new discoveries. There are two types of nationalism, both whose motives are to unify the people. Liberal nationalism strives to unify people based on a single national identity, democracy, and a society led by its citizens. Liberal nationalism supports the idea of pluralism and it protects each person's rights, liberties, and equalities. Liberal nationalism forms a group of individuals with the same ideals and therefore serves as a defense mechanism against other groups. On the other hand, romantic nationalism strives to unify people based on common ethnic background, trying to achieve one goal. Zionism, the Jewish nationalism, strives to unite the Jews based on their common background and their goal to achieve a Jewish state. Nationalism fostered globalization by bringing each nationalist group together as a whole trying to achieve a single goal. With the act of nationalism causing nation pride, many countries felt the need to colonize other countries. The act of one country colonizing over another country was called imperialism. In a time of imperialism, there were many new developments, but a few circumstances hindered the process of globalization. With many countries colonizing other countries, also known as mother countries, the colonized people lost all of their rights. Many mother countries use means to protect themselves by cutting off their colonies' ability to trade. The mother colonies would trade only with other mother countries, and the colonized people weren't allowed to trade. Therefore, the colonized people couldn't make money by themselves. Because of all of the new policies that the mother countries created, the colonized were extracted from the global market. One example of the many countries that were affected by these policies was India. England colonized India and forced those policies on India. The British colonizers would not allow the people in India to trade clothes or anything with any other country, only with England. They also lost most of their cotton to England, and many people became unemployed. Therefore, imperialism hindered globalization because the people who were being colonized lost all of their resources and status in the global playing field. This supported social Darwinism. The idea of survival of the fittest continued to encourage imperialism as means of survival. Some other countries worked on the basis of them being the stronger countries and making it their duty to introduce themselves to the developing world through imperialism. Eugenics arose as the science behind racism, which seemed to justify imperial survival. While the tensions grew between nations as citizens swelled with pride for the nations as the scramble to grab land overseas began, as World War I started, countries started to create alliances since there was an imbalance of power around the world. Many countries created alliances and therefore brought the world together and made it smaller. As a result of the war, the Treaty of Versailles was created. It forced Germany to pay for the whole war and therefore they had to fix all the things that they destroyed. That caused Germany to do a whole lot of trading with other countries. Therefore, as a result of the war, globalization was fostered through global trade. As Germany was not satisfied with the Treaty of Versailles, they decided to reject it and start another world war. This war also started with the creation of allies, and the war ended up being fought between the allies and the Axis powers. The Axis powers brainwashed their citizens. Each government was completely controlled by the leader, although the leader claimed to be a man of the people. Mussolini, the Italian leader at the time, brainwashed his people into thinking that fascism will recover the Roman Empire. Hitler and many other leaders on the Axis powers had similar ideas. On the other hand, the Allies side was ruled based on nationalism. As a result of the war, the Allies won and many people got their jobs back and the United States was out of its depression. Therefore, World War II contributed to globalization because it promoted the idea of self-determination. In between all the events that occurred in World War II, the Holocaust happened. In the Holocaust, the German Nazis tried to do everything so that the Jews would stay away from the outside world. The Nazis took this idea to such an extent where they would put the Jews in the ghettos and in concentration camps, and they killed 6 million Jews. This idea goes completely against globalization since the Jews were not able to be a part of the global market and therefore the Holocaust hindered globalization. The Cold War is more of a competition than a war, although there were many times where the world was at brinksmanship of a war. The Cold War was a competition between the United States and the Soviet Union trying to show who is stronger than the other. Since it was a big competition, the United States and the Soviet Union tried to advance their technology and militarism as much as they could in order to show superiority. As the relationship between the United States and the Soviet Union worsened, Europe was split into two parts. As Winston Churchill said, an iron curtain has descended across the continent. The eastern part of Europe was controlled by the Soviet Union and was influenced under communism, and the western part of Europe was controlled by the United States and was influenced under democracy. The United States felt the need to create a new kind of weapon in case the Soviet Union will attack. Then the United States created the hydrogen bomb. Overall, the competition fostered globalization because it caused the creation of new technology. All these events that led up to the year of 2000, or Globalization 3.0, caused globalization to hinder and foster several times. But now, because of all of these events, globalization is stronger than ever. If it hadn't been for those events, I wouldn't have been able to speak to my grandmother when she's on the other side of the world. Therefore, globalization is strong and it's only getting stronger.